A major educational change of direction for the state of Florida when it comes to assessing students and comparing them to children in other states. The system, known as Common Core Standards, is used in 45 states right now, but Governor Rick Scott has ordered the state of Florida to withdraw from the test. Channel 4's Chris Parento has been talking to local superintendents to gauge their reaction to the change. Chris?
Rob, you know, the reaction has been mixed from superintendents in our area about withdrawing from this assessment to test Common Core Standards, but one thing is certain: most believe that some sort of nationally used assessment has to be put in place in the state of Florida so that our students will know how they stack up against those in other states here in the country.
We're one of the few only industrialized countries not to have national assessments and a national standards.
The test that Florida planned on using was created by the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, or PARC. While PARC isn't totally out of the equation as a possibility, the state will now begin the solicitation process to see which test it should use.
These assessments simply weren't developed. The companies had not developed them. So it's difficult for a superintendent or anybody else for that matter to have an opinion on an assessment when they haven't seen it.
Dr. Joe Joyner, the St. Johns County Superintendent, agrees with the governor's decision, but wants to see a new assessment in place quickly so that students can be prepared by the 2014-2015 school year when the test is supposed to begin being used. Dr. Nikolai Vitti doesn't think that's enough time.
The reality is anytime you're using a new battery of tests, you need to field test that. So how do you field test questions that haven't been used by our kids because we haven't implemented those Common Core Standards?
Vitti says that right now it's difficult to compare data from year to year because of how many changes there have been. He says the state needs to pick a test, preferably one used by many other states, and stick with it so that schools can better prepare kids for the future.
We need to measure what our kids know or don't know so we can provide the right support, intervention, and hold people accountable. And our kids here in Jacksonville are not only competing with kids in their own classroom or kids in St. John's, but they're competing with kids from Mobile, from New York City, LA, but as you and I both know, they're also competing against kids in India and China.
The State Board of Education hopes to have a recommendation for a new assessment in place by March of next year so that it can be put into place and begun testing for the 2014-2015 school year. Live at the Duval County School Board building, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.
Chris, I'm sure people watching this, it begs the question, does this change anything for testing this year?
Rob, it doesn't change anything for this year. This year is the final year of the FCAT 2.0, which measures student achievement based on the next generation Sunshine State standards, not the Common Core Standards used nationally. But both superintendents that I talked to today say that they're hopeful that the test that they do put in place in the future measures the national standards and is not some sort of FCAT 3.0 like test, so that students are able to compare themselves once again to those from around the country.
All right, Chris Parento is live for us tonight. Thank you, Chris.